I thank you, Representative McEntee. I'm Representative Rebecca Kazlik, and I wanted to thank you for introducing this really important legislation. I was here before the committee last year testifying, and I am so excited to see all the energy around here tonight around the Uniform Parentage Act. We are hopeful that this will be the year that Rhode Island modernizes our family law to account for the many ways that we build our families. The bill in front of you will protect children from day one and make sure that the people who intend to be parents, who plan to be parents, are recognized as parents from the start, and that the child and the family is protected on day one. This is really important, and I'm going to talk about my own family in just a minute, because this bill would have been very helpful when my partner and I welcomed our children into the world, and it will protect families like mine. It will also help families formed through surrogacy, as we've heard. I didn't know a whole lot about surrogacy as recently as 3 years ago. I had met some people who had been surrogates, carrying babies for loving families who couldn't themselves conceive. And I also knew some families who had children through surrogacy, but I didn't really think a lot about it until 3 years ago or so, when I had a nursing student in my health policy course write a paper for me for that class. She chose to write about policies to help support families who formed through surrogacy. So I, as the teacher, became the student, and I learned a lot from this paper. And I learned about some of the ways that we can support families formed through surrogacy. And today we have the opportunity to do that by creating a legal framework as informed by national best practices to protect everyone, and most especially the children, by making sure that their intended parents are recognized and responsible from day one. And now on to my own personal story of becoming a parent. My partner, Joanna, and I have two beautiful children, 14 and 10 years old. I cannot believe how big they're getting. We are grateful that we were able for both of them to hire lawyers to help us navigate the process of adoptions of the children each one of us had birthed. This legislation, had it been enacted then, would have greatly reduced unnecessary barriers to protecting our family from the start, at a time when we had plenty of other things to juggle as two working mamas with one and then two babies. I had frankly forgotten, my kids are 14 and 10, and I had forgotten the stress of the hoops that we had to jump through to adopt our own children. But hearing stories through the testimony here and outside through conversations, I remember more and more details of what we went through. And I'm surprised to hear that there have been additional hoops put up since we adopted our children for some families who are adopting. So what we did, and I don't think this is everything, but we went through DCYF and the courts to adopt the babies when we were always the only intended parents. Our children each had only one legal parent for 6 months until we could complete the home study and adoption process. Even knowing that it was all procedural and that probably everything would be fine, there's still anxiety in welcoming DCYF into your home for home studies. And we did that twice, once for each child. We scheduled for fingerprinting, we waited for a court date. I even think I had to get a doctor's note that I was healthy enough to adopt the child who I was living with and caring for. I have been surprised to hear that more hoops have gone up in some cases, not fewer. The hassle and frankly the anxiety of having DCYF have to approve of our families seems to be an unnecessary use of resources. We should modernize our law now, and I'm here always to answer questions, and I'm grateful to have heard from Attorney Crozier and from Director Hawkins, and I'm looking forward to hearing others and all of the families who have come here tonight. And thank you very much for your consideration of this very important legislation.